Fun Facts presents the 1957 Chevy Corvette. It is a classic 50s car. This is the first generation from 53 through 1962. I'm excited. I hope you're excited, and let's get started now. The Chevrolet Corvette, known as just Vette, is a two-door passenger luxury sports car manufactured and marketed by Chevrolet since 1953. With 8 design generations, noted sequentially from C1 through C8, the Corvette is noted for its performance and distinctive fiberglass and composite panels. It was a front-engined through 2019 and mid-engines ever since. In 1953, the GM executives accepted a suggestion by Myron Scott, then the assistant director of the public relations department, to name the company's new sports car after the Corvette, a small maneuverable warship. The first model, a convertible, was introduced at 1953 GM Motorama as a concept car. Production models went on sale later that year. In 1963, the second generation was introduced in the coupe and convertible styles. The first generation of Corvette was introduced late in 1953 model year. It first appeared as a show car for the 1953 General Motors Motorama, held January 17th through the 23rd at New York's Waldorf Astoria Hotel. At that time, Chevrolet General Manager Thomas H. Keating said it was 6 months to a year away from production readiness. The car generated enough interest to commence mass production on June 30th, 1953, and the unique Corvette was in the hand-laid-up fiberglass body. This generation was often referred to as a solid axle model, with independent rear suspension appearing in the next 300 hand-built Corvette convertibles were produced all polo white for the 1953 model year. In 1954, the model year vehicles could be ordered in Panette Blue, Sportsman Red, Black, or Polo White. 3,640 were built and sold slowly. The 1953, 54, and 55 model years were the only Corvettes equipped with a 235 cubic inch 3.9 liter version of the second generation Blue Flame inline 6, rated at 150 horsepower. The 1955 model offered 265 cubic inches of 4.34 liter V8 as an option. Despite the poor sales of the Corvette at the time, the brand new V8 was an overwhelmingly popular option. Only six of the 1955 models were produced with the inline 6, with a large inventory of unsold 1954 models. So GM limited production to 700 for the 1955. With the new V8, the 0 to 60 miles per hour time improved by 1.5 seconds. So a new body was introduced for the 1956 model, featuring a new face, side covers, tail lamp fins were also gone. An optional ramjet fuel injection system was made available in the middle of 1957 model year. It was one of the first American mass-produced engines in history to reach 1 horsepower or 0.75 kilowatts per cubic inch. And Chevrolet's advertising agency used a 1 horsepower per cubic inch slogan for their advertising in the 283 horsepower, 283 cubic inch, 4.64 liter small block engine. Other options included power windows, hydraulically operated power convertible top, heavy-duty brakes and suspension, and a 4-speed manual transmission late 1957. Delco radio transistorized single seeking hybrid car radio, which used both vacuum tubes and transistors in its radio circuitry in 1956 as an option. In 1957, Chevrolet enlarged their V8 engine to 283 and it was rated at 220 bhp. Several options were available to increase power output, including the Fuelie that increased power to 250 or 283 bhp, and GM boasted 1 horsepower for every cubic inch, as mentioned before. Midway through the production year, Chevrolet offered a manual transmission for the first time on the Corvette, and this option would continue in the following years. It cost $188.30 and was a modified Borg-Warner unit. For serious customers, Chevrolet offered Rochester carburetor division's ramjet fuel injection, which was only ordered on 240 cars. The basic kit could produce 283 bhp or 250 bhp, and the cost was $484.20. With column-mounted tachometer, cold air induction, and heater deleted, the 579E racing version cost $726.30 less than 50 were ordered this way, and were typically ordered with the heavy-duty racing suspension that had new springs, front anti-roll bar, limited slip differential, ceramic metallic brake linings, and a faster steering ratio. These two options together added $1,500 to the base price of the car. The colors offered in 1957 were Oxford Black, Aztec Copper, Cascade Green, Arctic Blue, Venetian Red, Polo White, Inca Silver with beige or a red interior. So a matching auxiliary hardtop could be ordered for an additional $215.20. Often the 1957 Corvette raced alongside SCCA races against the Jaguar XK120 and Mercedes 300 SL. Active racer Andy Porterfield said you also had to drive very hard back then, but the 1957 Corvette with fuel injection and the 4-speed transmission made us dominant from 1957 until the Cobra showed up in late 1962. Roger Penske also raced the 1957 Corvette in the 1958 as his foray into the world of motorsport. While General Motors still recorded only modest sales of the Chevrolet Corvette in 1956, it was apparent to everyone that it was also beginning to be taken seriously as a sports car, even after the immense structural, physical, and mechanical facelift it received in 1956. Corvette saw some major improvements in 1957. A new, larger 283 CID engine was placed under the hood. Mechanically, it would really steal the existing 265 CID engine. Thought it had been bored out 1/8 inch, and this modified engine delivered an impressive 220 horsepower when coupled with a 4-barrel carburetor. Dual 4 barrels took it to 245 horsepower. Better still, consumers could now also purchase GM's newly developed ramjet fuel injection system, which yielded 259 horsepower. So Chevy's ads carried the news that the Corvette now was a 1 horsepower per cubic inch. While the fuel injection is almost universal today, the very idea of it in 1957 was completely foreign to the automotive manufacturers. While some European manufacturers had already begun experimenting with fuel injection in their production cars, Chevrolet turned this to new technology to bring added performance to its 2-year-old V8 engine. And GM had considered using supercharging as an alternative method to boost performance, but decided against it because of reliability issues. Fuel injection provided more precise fuel metering than a carburetor allowed. So GM assembled and developed a team to develop its own fuel injection delivery system. The team was comprised of Ed Cole, who had been promoted to Chevrolet's chief in 1955, Harry Barr, who designed the 1949 Cadillac V8 and went on to become Cole's successor at Chevy's chief engineer, and John Dolza, head of the fuel injection development for GM engineering staff, and Zora Arkus Duntov. Duntov had been developing his own fuel injection system since early 1956. And it wasn't until after an accident while driving a prototype Corvette hardtop with an experimental disc brakes at GM, proving grounds in April left him with a broken vertebrae in his back. Standing erect in a body cast and often seen wearing a skirt, he was unable to dress himself due to the cast he was wearing. Duntov spent the next 6 months working on the fuel injection system while his body healed. Okay, I better stop at this point, otherwise the video is going to get too long. I'll leave a link below to the website where I found this article, and it's the Corv Sport, C-O-R-V, sport.com. Okay, so if you found yourself this far into the video, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch our video. If you like our video, please give us a thumbs up because it really does help our channel. And if you like our channel, please subscribe, because we'll be doing all the cars in the 50s, the 60s. We'll be doing muscle cars, sports cars, hybrid cars, supercars. We'll be doing autoramas, hot rods, so a little bit of everything for everybody. We'd like to thank you again, taking the time out of your day, and always, always, always take good care.